Hi, I'm Fred with One Project Closer, and today we're going to be sharing with you a spray foam installation in this basement. We're going to be doing open cell foam, closed cell foam. We're going to be talking to the contractor about the differences between it, the differences between him installing it versus doing it ourselves, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun, so come on with us. So the basement that we're going to be working on today has standard 2x4 framing members. And as you can see in this example, they're set about 4 inches away from the block wall behind them. The block wall has been coated with a waterproofing compound called Sunny Dry. And in other places you're going to see white walls that still has the waterproofing compound. It's just a different brand name called Super Thorough Seal. So what we're going to do is now fill in these cavities with spray foam, get a tight seal around the whole perimeter of the house, raise the value of the house, and also make it feel a little bit warmer in this basement. I'm here with Pat Riley. He's our installer today for the job. And can you give us a description of the project?
Today we're going to be doing all the basement walls in closed cell foam, 2-pound density, to give it a complete air barrier and moisture barrier.
Okay, now can you give us a little bit of a description of the difference between open and closed cell foam?
Open cell foam is more for air barrier. It does not have any vapor barrier protection properties to it. A closed cell foam is much more dense and will prevent any kind of vapor transfer through the foam.
Okay, and there's a difference in the insulation value?
Correct. There's probably about double the insulation value from open cell to closed cell.
Great. All right. So we have 1,000 square feet of walls that we're going to do today. About how long is it going to take you to do?
Hopefully it shouldn't take us more than 8 hours to take care of the whole project.
All right, so we're up inside of the rig, and why don't you tell us a little bit? We got big drums here. We got white and black drums. It looks like we got some equipment in the back. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what we're looking at?
Here's your foam product here. This product is what's called your isocyanate. This always remains the same. This is your petroleum base. On the white side, we have either open cell or closed cell. It's called a resin. And this is what makes the foam.
Okay.
So you either have open cell or you have closed cell in each drum.
So back here we have your pump, and it looks like we have tubing coming from the drums. Can you tell us a little bit about this?
This machine, this is the main machine of the whole entire setup. This is a $15,000 piece of equipment. This does all of your pumping. It does all of your heating. And you have to see if you have all the gauges in there. It tells you all your pressures. You have to keep everything at proper temperatures and pressures to be able to spray correctly.
Okay, and about how long can you run the hose from here?
With this machine we can go 210 feet.
Okay, so you park it on the street and you can pretty much work inside of anybody's house?
Correct.
Great.
Yep.
Okay, Pat, what I'd like to know is we've got 1,000 square feet of basement around us. What kind of prep work are you guys going to do before you start the foaming job?
Well, today, considering that you have a floor that is going to be need to be protected, we will protect the entire floor 100% with plastic.
Okay.
Any of the electrical sockets that are already in the different areas, they will all be protected so no foam gets inside those. The HVAC equipment, that will be protected completely with plastic. And any windows or doors that are inside the house, we will protect as well to prevent overspray.
Okay, now this is my basement, and I'm a huge do-it-yourselfer. And of course the people who follow our blog know that. We like to do all the stuff ourselves, but today we have a contractor in to do this job, and I'm a little bit embarrassed about that. So tell me some of the pros and cons that we went through over me trying to do this job myself versus hiring you to come in and do it.
Well, with do-it-yourself, it is definitely a benefit to doing it yourself as far as cost. But in this case, it would require a lot of sets of foam to do it yourself. And the cost will start to drive it up, and you'll actually wind up being more expensive than a contractor because of the volume that it will take to do it.
Okay, now when I looked into do-it-yourself kits, what I saw was you can get 2 kind of propane tank looking things. Mm-hmm. Now we're gonna, we talked about your rig already outside, and you got a big equipment set up out there. I don't have that big equipment. What's the difference?
They will come pressurized tanks
okay.
that will have pre-pressure in them that will spray the foam. It will come out much slower, but you will be able to do a smaller area yourself. So don't stray away from doing it yourself, because if you have a small area, having a contractor come out will cost you more in the long run.
Got it. But now if I'm going to do 1,000 square feet, what I really want is to have you guys come in and get in and out in 8 hours and take the burden off of me.
And that would be my suggestion. On a large area like this, it would take you forever and would cost you in the long run.
Okay. Tell me what kind of gear you're going to be wearing, and I see you've got your face mask here.
This is the mask I will be wearing today. This is an air-fed positive pressure mask. As you see,
So wait, what does that mean? Air-fed positive pressure?
I have a air compressor outside with a biological filter on it to make sure that nothing comes inside that I don't want to breathe.
Got it. Okay.
And it feeds through this hose here that's attached to my belt into my mask, and air only escapes when it's in positive pressure.
Now, what about protection for your body?
I wear a Tyvek suit.
Okay.
And I will wear something on my feet, and I will wear gloves on my hands to make sure I don't get foam on my hands, because it's very difficult to get off and it comes out very hot.
Okay. Now, is there any toxic concerns with foam?
There are organic vapor concerns that you don't want to breathe in the vapors directly while you're spray foaming. So if you're going to do it yourself, make sure that you get a mask and respirator that covers your full face and has organic and acid respirator cartridges in it.
Okay, we're getting started with the foam in the basement, and it looks like you're starting up in the band boards. Tell us a little bit about the foam we're installing there.
Well, back here is the back of the house, which we don't have to worry about any moisture problems considering it's above grade. And we're going to use open cell foam up there. Expands 100 times its liquid weight, and it will get in every crack and crevice behind the band boards to seal it off from any kind of air infiltration.
Now, you're beginning to work on the sides of the house, which are a little bit obscured by the framing that's already in place, but we can see up into the crevice. Tell us how the foam helps us out there.
Well, yeah, here we only have about an inch gap in between the block and the floor joists. So if we were to try and get fiberglass up there, we would pretty much be impossible. So we're using open cell foam, and what we'll do is we'll just blow it right in there, spray it in, and it will expand until it starts to ooze out, and we'll cut it off and trim it. It'll be all sealed up.
Okay, tell us a little bit about what we're seeing here with the closed cell foam.
Here we're starting on the back wall, and what we're trying to do is spray into the corners of it and completely seal behind the 2x4s before we start filling the centers.
Got it. So the result is basically getting the vapor barrier completely consistent across the back of the wall. How thick are you trying to make this foam? What's the R value we're going to get out of it?
On this project, you requested that I put in 3 inches of closed cell foam, which will give us about an R value of R20. And typically you could just go 2 inches down in the basement, because with 2 inches of foam you get your complete air barrier and you get your vapor barrier together.
In terms of vapors and fumes coming off of this stuff, how would you compare it to, say, painting a house?
The fumes are about the same. Both of them are not pleasurable to inhale, to yourself to smell, but they will subside alike, and once the project is done, you won't smell anything anymore. So how's the new basement? Much more comfortable than before?
Well, I can tell you a few things. We didn't have any insulation down there before we put in the foam. And what happened in our house was that our first floor was constantly freezing. And we've had some really cold days between the foam job and now. And I can tell you that the floor is about the same temperature as the rest of the room now. It's not sucking heat out of our bodies. It's really great. And it's also very quiet. We used to be able to hear things outside just radiating through the block wall, and the foam has made it virtually silent. So overall, we're incredibly pleased with the product, and we're looking forward to having a much warmer house this winter.